Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or wherever you are when you're watching this video. It's me, Naturally, and today we are going to talk about why my hair and all these plaits. No, today we are going to talk about trimming our ends. It is extremely important that you trim your ends because that actually helps your hair grow. When your ends split, it actually continues to split all the way up until it splits to the root. And trust me, it really does happen. If you've ever just pulled the ends of your hair and it just keeps going, that's one long split end that just raveled all the way up and took your root. But why do you have to go through that if you would just trim your ends? If you don't feel comfortable doing it at home, by all means, please go to a professional. But if you watch this video and you learn something, and you also watch the reference videos I put down below in the description, you should be okay with trimming your own ends. No, we're not cutting my hair right now. We're not just taking the scissors and we're gonna actually go through, discover my deadness, and trim off. From what I have researched, I have found that there are different ways to trim your ends depending on your hair pattern. I know I talk a lot about your hair porosity and the products, but right now we gotta focus on our hair pattern. So I've read that if you have wavy hair, it's best to twist your hair or braid your hair, hold it to your shoulder or hold it straight down, and trim the ends that you see fit while your hair is in the twist, or the little section that it's in. I've researched and read that if you have curly hair like me, it's best that you put your hair in at least 8 sections. Well, no, at the most 8 sections, at least 6 sections. You unravel those sections, you comb them out, and you stretch your hair as it's combed out, like we're gonna do today. I am gonna demonstrate that because I have curly hair. But you stretch your hair out after it's been combed. They say blow dry or air dry, but I am not a heat type of curly girl. So I do recommend you just stretch it out and do it in the straight type form and trim your ends that way. Also, I've read that if you have coily hair, which is a tighter curl to your hair, if you have coily hair, it's also recommended that you do it in the 6 to 8 sections. Comb out your hair, stretch it as much as you can, then comb it even more, stretching it even more. They say blow dry and air dry. I'm not a heat girl, so up to your own discretion. But you stretch it as much as you can, and you trim what you deem fit. I've seen that a lot of natural girls like to trim their hair wet. I've also noticed that a lot of natural girls like to trim their hair in the twist. Research has also shown me, as well as YouTube, that there are a lot of different ways to trim your hair based on your curl pattern and based on your preference. You can trim it wet, you can trim it in plaits, you can trim it combed out, you can do what they call find the damage and chop it off, which is kind of what I do a lot of the times. While you comb and you go, ugh, that's nasty, cut. Moving on. I don't recommend that, but it's a method. I do it. Okay, so on to the trimming process. To trim your hair, you need scissors. Go buy some shears. These were like $10 at Sally's. They're really sharp. I really love them. They're better than kitchen scissors, which I used to use. Don't do that. Go and buy you some cutting shears. You need a semi-wide tooth comb. You need a fine tooth comb. And you also need a detangling brush. I like to use a weave brush. I've introduced my weave brush before. It's not a brush, it's only the bristles. Works wonders, love it, have had it for years. So I'm gonna scoot up a little bit so you guys will be able to see what I'm doing. I'm gonna take a scrunchie, you can do a clip, whatever you feel. I'm gonna move some of my hair out the way so you only see one section. My hair is pre-detangled. I've already gone through it, but you want to make sure that you go through it again, even though you have already detangled it, because you want your hair to be as untangled as detangled as possible. Also, I like to do my trimming on dirty hair, because I feel like once I trim my hair, I want to wash it, or at least, you know, wash the dead hair that stayed. I don't know, it's just a thing for me. You can do it how you want. You can wash your hair first and then trim, so that you can style as you go. It's up to you. That's just my method. So once I pull the two pieces apart, now I have subsections. I'm gonna take my detangling brush and I'm gonna go through that subsection. See, it's gliding through easy. Making sure that it's detangled. I'm gonna go through with this section. I'm sorry, with this comb. Then I'm gonna take my fine tooth comb, and this comb is gonna tell me where I need to trim. So I get a little snag and little knots at the bottom. And I got this from Natural Hair. I want to say her name is Naturally 85. I watched her YouTube a long time ago. She did say snags don't always mean dead ends, but what I've noticed is that snags always mean dead ends for me. So right there, so that's about, what do you think, maybe an inch? It's not a lot. So I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna use my index and my pointer and my middle finger on my least dominant hand, because I'm gonna cut with my dominant. I'm gonna pull till I snag. I'm gonna pull it out, and that is what we're cutting. So we're gonna cut. If you have really sharp scissors, this is going to be real easy, but you know, pay attention. Even as I'm cutting, I can see the split ends. Crazy to me. Let me show you what I cut off. Can you guys see that? That's all I cut off. But even as I look at it, I can see what is split and what is damaged. A lot of my hair is damaged due to the color the last time I colored it. So let's see if we trimmed off what we were supposed to. We're taking our fine tooth comb again. We're gonna run through it. And it's barely not snagging at all. I still get a little snag. And that's this little piece right here. I'm gonna trim that too. It's so small, it barely wants to cut. Okay, so I cut a little bit more off. Run it through again. And it goes through. I am snagging a little, but I don't want to cut any more off because it doesn't look damaged. And if I just hold it at the base, I can comb through it pretty easy. So I think we did good on that section. Now I'm gonna go to the other, same process. I always like to comb from my ends to my roots. I never do it the other way. I feel like I am damaging my hair if I do it that way. I'm pulling out my hair if I do it that way. So I always start with my ends. As you can see, even with the brush, I'm getting a lot of snags. So I know some needs to be cut. Water tooth. It's already starting to catch. Fine tooth. Gliding through. Uh-oh. Catching. Do it one more time. And don't get me wrong, if you don't find anything that needs to be trimmed, don't trim it. Right? You ain't gotta do it, don't do it. Save yourself the trouble. So I'm gonna go through it one more time. Anything I'm gonna cut about that much off. It is recommended that you keep the inch level the same. But for me, I like to cut what needs to be cut because it takes me a while to go back and cut it again. So if I cut what needs to be cut the first time, I don't gotta cut it again and again and again. I'm all about ease. So let's go through this hair again. Combing out my ends a little bit before I do the test, because I actually mixed it with the other hair and I didn't mean to do that. So it looks like I actually do need to trim a little bit more. Make sure. Maybe not. And like I said, when I was watching the video over again of the young lady that I normally watch, she said not all snags mean dead ends. So I'm going to take her word for it. I am going to take a look at the hair. And I don't think I need to trim anymore either. I know my hair. I'm going to give it a really good once over. I'm going to twist it back up. And I'm going to nubian it out the way. And I can move on to the next part. I'm gonna do this part a little faster on camera, and then I will come back when I'm done. Don't be a menace to society by drinking your juice on the hood. I just wanted to show you guys, this is what I cut off of my entire head. It feels dead. It just feels like it shouldn't be in my head. I wish y'all could feel that. It just feel like, thank God I cut it. Now it's gone. As I was combing through my hair, I noticed a tip or a trick or two that I wanted to tell you guys. I do have layers, different layers, because I once received a curly cut. And when you get a curly cut, your hair isn't the same length everywhere. So once I got a curly cut, and when you get a curly cut, your hair isn't the same length everywhere. So what I noticed is some places I had to subsection my subsections. So remember when I pulled them out into two, I can actually show you. So when I had the twist and then I pulled the twist out to make two, some of them I had to comb, and then I noticed I had a layer, or maybe I can show you on this part. So like this part, if I comb it down, that comes up. Some other pieces come up, so I would have to like section that off and then cut this on its own and cut that on its own. Some of my pieces didn't need to be cut at all, which is fine by me. The less I gotta do. And all in all, it took me about 20 minutes to do it, which isn't bad at all. My hair feels a lot different. It feels lighter, you know? Now, again, if you don't feel comfortable doing this on your own, please go to a natural hair person. I say natural because you do not need to blow dry your hair or blow out your hair or straighten your hair to cut your ends. You don't. That's the reality. You really don't have to straighten your hair out to get your ends cut. You can see them frail, weak, dull, dense, list strands without getting your hair straightened. I'm just saying. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you are reminded of the video. Remember to share with all your friends, and don't forget to follow me on my Instagram. I link a lot of good stuff on the Instagram related to the videos I post. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.